Hushnia, once a thriving village in the southern Golan Heights. Today it's a scattered collection of ruins, a grim monument to the ferocity of the 1973 Arab-Israeli War. Syrian and Israeli tank forces clashed here in a historic encounter, now simply remembered as the Battle of Hushnia. October 9th. The Syrian advance into the Golan loses steam, and they assemble an armored division, over 250 tanks at Hushnia, in preparation for a final big offensive. But in the 3 days since Syrian attacks on the Golan Heights began, the Israelis have mobilized hundreds of tanks and thousands of reserve soldiers. Most of them streamed towards Hushnia for a showdown with the Syrians.
I received an order to cross the oil pipeline and advance and capture Hushnia. The Syrians held this place as their last stronghold on the Golan Heights. And for the first time since the war began, there was a plan for an organized attack with artillery and jets. The artillery started falling on Hushnia. And we, in 2 squads of tanks, started to advance, crossing the territory from the oil line towards the village of Hushnia. It's dusk, the last light, and you can see the entire village blazing, exploding, and the mask of Hushnia in the middle of this whole thing. We advanced with the tanks, and the Syrians didn't escape. But it's dangerous, because everything is exploding and blazing around us. It's Dante, it's inconceivable, it's an inferno. And then, from within the village, outburst Syrian tanks and trucks. They are terrified, trying to escape, and I see a Syrian tank, and it isn't clear if it is able to get out. But then, his turret starts moving in my direction, but my cannon and my turret are farther away, and it's completely clear that I won't be able to target him. He's going to get a bead on me first, and if he does, then I'm a goner. Behind me is one of my battalion officers, and he launches a shell, and the Syrian tank lights up. They are difficult displays to describe, but the Syrians ran for their lives.
The Israeli reserves destroy more than 200 tanks, stalling the Syrians' big push. By the afternoon of October 9th, the Israelis have retaken most of the southern Golan. But on the northern front, they are still struggling to hold off Syrian forces in a place that will soon become known as the Valley of Tears.
In the north, the remnants of the elite 7th Armored Brigade are still just barely holding back the Syrian 7th Infantry Division. The Syrians tried one last time to blast through the Israeli positions. They've got 200 tanks, half of them T-62s, and the Israelis are down to less than 30 Centurions.
We are currently located at the positions that control the Valley of Tears, which we see here in front of us. And when I arrive from Booster Ridge with 6 tanks, I realize that I am not going to make it to these positions, which are the best ones, and govern the entire width of the Valley of Tears. By now, Unit 7 has retreated back, and I find myself alone with 6 tanks. And I decide to make a defensive stand on the reverse slope. And I stop the 6 tanks and spread them out along the back slope of the hill that is located behind us. and I see the smoke from the exhaust of the Syrian tanks over the hill. And I tell my men, you, see those moving on the other side of the hill? You, take those 3. You, these 2. You, these 3. And I let the Syrians come right over the hill. I allowed the Syrians to advance, and they head towards the top of the hill with the barrel of their cannons pointed upwards. And I wait for them. The battle opens at close range, around 300 to 400 meters. And we stopped their advance towards the main road. But in this battle, after we stopped the Syrian army, we had only 2 tanks left. On this side, at the foot of Mount Hermonite, we see today the same famous valley where the commander of the 77th Battalion, Colonel Kahalani, stood and blocked the Syrian advance through this valley.
When I came 2 kilometers from the hills, I saw far away Israeli tanks on fire and other tanks around them. It was Syrian tanks. And I moved with my tanks to the valley. I was in shock. I called my commander and said, if you have any tanks in the area, send them immediately